You're listening to Catholic Chicago. Ahead, the Archdiocese of Chicago brings you programs about the people, events, and issues that touch our lives. Thanks for letting us be part of your morning. Now again, Catholic Chicago.
Good morning and welcome to the Voice of Charity. I'm Katie Bredemann and we extend a warm hello to all who are listening on WNDZ 750 AM here in Chicago and all who are watching our live stream on YouTube and Facebook at Catholic Chicago, which is the account for the Archdiocese of Chicago. We wish you a very Merry Christmas and hope you had a wonderful time with your family and friends as we all celebrate the arrival of the Christ child into our hearts and our homes again this year. We have a very special show for you today. Anjanette Nero is Catholic Charities Director of Staff Development and Education. She does a phenomenal job in that role. We look forward to hearing more about all that is included in her position. We're also delighted to share that Anjanette has a gorgeous singing voice. She is coordinator of Catholic Charities Voices of Charity Choir, and we are so thrilled to have her sing a couple Christmas carols for us today as we celebrate the Christmas season all through the new year. Welcome, Anjanette.
Oh, thank you so much, Katie. I'm really excited to be here.
We are so thrilled to have you. Can I ask you, first a little bit, can you tell us a little about your role as Director of Staff Development and Education? When did you first become associated with Catholic Charities?
Well, prior to coming to Catholic Charities, I've been here 10 years. And prior to being here, I was with another not-for-profit. And I was a grant writer. I had a wellness program for children. And I was looking for, just to expand my horizons. And so I was searching and found this position for a trainer and recruiter for Catholic Charities of Chicago. And I wanted to be in HR too. So I was like, this is perfect. And the description was exactly what I had been doing in my last not-for-profit. And so the rest is history. So 10 years later, I'm not a trainer and recruiter anymore, but I oversee the whole department, which is a department of one right now. But, we're always ready to pivot and see what's happening next.
Well, and you do a phenomenal job of helping everybody, not only learn about opportunities. Catholic Charities has some wonderful staff education opportunities. How about if we just start with that? Can you tell us what Catholic Charities offers to employees to enrich their own careers?
Sure. So the first thing is we're a human services organization. And so we employ quite a few social workers, whether there be counselors, licensed folks. So we're able to provide continuing education units so that they can keep up their licensures if they have licenses or if they're aspiring towards a license. So that's a really wonderful thing. And so sometimes we provide clinical training if we have an opportunity to do so. Right now, we've been pandemicking for a few years, and so it's been a little bit different. But for the most part, we do computer trainings. We do staff enrichment or professional development classes like how to communicate better. I do one-on-ones. If you got troubles, call me and I'll make sure that we get what you need. But I also do de-escalation training, CPR. So we just kind of run the gamut. And if it's something that we don't do internally, then we look for outside sources. And sometimes we're able to find a resource in charities because charities are so large.
Well, and then you also will do just sometimes basic business skills. You'll
Sure.
have Excel classes,
Yes.
or you'll have, Word classes for people to enhance their own, capabilities with that as well, correct?
Absolutely. So, I myself and another colleague are certified in Microsoft training. So we can provide those, like you mentioned, Excel, PowerPoint, and things like that. And then, I really encourage teams that really need to maybe come together to suggest, hey, Ange, we need a training for our team on how to use Excel. So one of our senior services teams actually asked for an Excel training so that they can be more proficient in providing reporting to one of their funders. So things like that. So it could be something very already made up, or it could be something that's tailored for the group.
Well, and then that's why, you're so phenomenal in your job, because you'll do this individualized training for people, but then you'll do very large group training as well.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm not afraid of a crowd. Well, I don't. It's weird. I don't like to be in a big crowd, but I don't mind being in front of a crowd. So, if I can help, I'm here to help.
I've seen you lead a crowd too, and you do it so well.
Thank you.
Can you also talk about, there's some required training that all employees have to follow, as employees in the state of Illinois. Can you share what some of those topics are that are, you have to make sure everybody in the agency takes these required training classes online?
Absolutely. So the state of Illinois and the city of Chicago are requiring sexual harassment training or harassment prevention training. And this has been like for the past maybe 3 years or so, but they have recently increased the number of hours that we have to take. So there's the harassment prevention, there is ethics and whistleblower, which goes inside of our government or regulatory type of requirements. Then there is cybersecurity training, because there are always people out there trying to get into systems and things like that. So that's very important for our insurance also. And then the last one I can't remember. I think those are the main ones right now. So as things come about, then we make sure we communicate that through our communications group.
Well, and I should also share with our audience that these training videos don't always come, ready to go and ready to distribute. You actually produce some of the training videos, right, Anjanette?
I know. So when I started with Catholic Charities, I didn't know I was going to be an event planner and a video producer. But yes, so with the pandemic happening, and even before the pandemic, I've always said we need more online training. I didn't know that I was going to be the one doing them, but one of our former colleagues, gave me a suggestion for a tool to use, and it's come in really great. So there are a couple things that are ready-made, but then even with the ready-made ones, I may take it, download it, and then add our Catholic Charities, such and such on it, just to make sure it looks nice and make sure it looks branded.
You'll put our logo on there, and then you'll do the intro to the training session and the wrap up, to make sure that people, follow all the procedures of showing that they've watched the video.
Absolutely.
All of those things. You do just a phenomenal job with it.
Thank you.
And now everybody knows why Anjanette is on our employee spotlight today, because she's that remarkable.
Thank you so much.
And so, you were kind enough when I asked you if you would be on the show today and help us all continue the Christmas celebration. You were kind enough to agree to sing a couple Christmas songs for us.
Sure.
Would you mind, before we head into our first commercial break, just sharing a song with us at your leisure? No rush.
Sure.
Thank you so much. And the first song that you're going to sing is?
The First Noel.
The First Noel.
How about that?
Enjoy.
Thank you. The first Noel, the angels did say, was to certain poor shepherds in fields where they lay, in fields where they lay, keeping their sheep. On a cold winter's night that was so deep, Noel, 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 born is the King of Israel. Noel, 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 born is the King of Israel. They looked up and they saw a star shining in the east, beyond them far, and to the earth it gave great light, and so it continued both day and night. Noel, 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 born is the King of Israel. Noel, 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 Noel. Born is the King of Israel.
Absolutely beautiful. Thank you so much, Anjanette. Please stay tuned with all of us. We're going to take a break here on The Voice of Charity, and when we continue, we're going to enjoy more songs with my wonderful friend and colleague, Anjanette Nero of Catholic Charities. Again, please stay tuned.
Catholic Charities Refugee Resettlement Program has been especially busy this year, assisting individuals and families who have fled dangerous situations in their homeland, including Afghanistan and the Ukraine. The Refugee Resettlement Team helps with everything they need to start to rebuild their lives in a new country, including housing, employment, clothing, food, English classes, and referrals for legal and immigration services. The refugees are tremendously grateful for the compassion and practical help they're receiving, and they're giving back and helping each other plan for a brighter, safer future. Volunteer opportunities are currently available for those who would like to be family mentors and tutors so children and adults can practice English. To learn more about these rewarding opportunities, call 312-655-7096. That's 312-655-7096.
This is year 44 for me teaching. When I started here, there were teachers here that had taught me when I was a student. Now I'm the old person. Right now, I teach junior high math. I love when kids find what I'm teaching to be fun and they get it. I see that light bulb go off and it's a thrill. People are always amazed. What? You're here for 44 years? It's hard for me to believe, frankly. I love what I do. Every summer I think, oh, I miss the classroom. Even on the weekends, I think I can't wait to get back on Monday and teach those quadratic equations.
Shape the next generation of leaders. Teach. Apply today at archchicago.org/schooljobs.
Welcome back to The Voice of Charity. I'm Katie Bredemann, and we've got a very special show today, an employee spotlight with my friend and colleague, Anjanette Nero, who is Catholic Charities Director of Staff Development and Education. And right before the break, Anjanette did a beautiful rendition of the First Noel, and we got a couple other songs coming up too. But before we go to that, Anjanette, I'd just like to see if you could share a little bit about how long you've been singing and performing in a choir.
Well, I have an old cassette tape, for those of us that remember cassette tapes, of my dad having me sing Happy Birthday. I think I was turning 2. So, and I was cracking notes. You know, I still crack a note every now and again. But anyhow, so I've been singing since, I've been loving to sing since that age. And then with choirs, like, probably since church, like elementary school or what have you. And then I did more in high school and college, and it's just been what it is ever since.
Well, that's amazing that your family recognized your talent as early as 2 years old.
Yeah, I mean, everyone in my household loved music in some type of way.
And do you play an instrument as well? Or obviously your voice is an amazing instrument in itself.
Thank you. I've played around with piano and guitar, taking formal lessons and things like that. And I love it. I love it. I'm married and my husband plays bass, and I have stepchildren. They play drums and keys. And so it's just a part of what we do.
Well, and that's a wonderful way to spend time together, is just, having a little mini concert in your own home, right?
Absolutely.
Are there certain musical genres that you enjoy the most of all?
Yeah, I love gospel music, but I'm a praise and worship leader, actually. But then also I enjoy neo soul, R&B. I enjoy a little bit of rock. I enjoy classical. My dad used to make me watch young performers every year when I was a kid on Channel 11 and watch the kids play instruments, whether it's the piano or violin. So I love a little bit of everything. It's
probably because you did start that young that you're able to just keep picking it up. They always say that, right? Whether you're learning an instrument or learning another language or whatever, that like the earlier that you start, the easier it is to pick it up.
Yeah, I think they call it immersion. Like, yes. If you're immersed in it, then it's gonna stick somewhere.
Yeah, and can we talk a little bit about the Voices of Charities choir that you coordinate? Our live stream is showing some photos, and I've had the great honor and pleasure of hearing you and the choir perform at our Senior Unity Mass and our Christmas liturgy, and you did a special performance for Black History Month. Can you talk a little bit about how long you've been in the choir and the group that all comes together to sing?
Sure. So you asked me a question about how I found myself at Charities, and so the funny thing is, the person I interviewed with, Mary Ann Parati, she found out through another colleague that I sang with a group called Shekinah Glory Ministries. And so she was like, "Oh, you sing? Okay, so we're gonna have you be a part of the choir." So in that time, 10 years ago, I was in my probation period. So do I have time? Do I have time, or can I say no? No. So I joined then, and just have been coordinating ever since, because it just kind of fell in my lap, but I enjoy it so much. The directors are great. The musicians are great. The singers are amazing. They can read music. I don't read music or sight sing, but being around it, immersion, being around it kind of helps, every time we get back together. So it's like, okay, here's the note, sing that, that type of thing. So it's been great. It's been a great experience.
I'm just trying to digest what you just said about that you don't read music because you perform so beautifully. So would you mind leading us in that second Christmas carol and treat us to that today?
Sure, no problem.
Thank you so much. At your convenience, whenever you're ready.
Okay, thank you. What child is this who laid to rest on Mary's lap is sleeping, whom angels greet with anthems sweet, while shepherds watch are keeping? This is Christ the King, whom shepherds laud and angels sing. Haste, haste to bring him, Lord, the babe, the Son of Mary. So bring him incense, gold, and myrrh. Come, peasant king, to own him. The King of kings salvation brings. Let loving hearts enthrone him. Raise, raise the song on high, while Mary sings a lullaby. Joy, joy, for Christ is born, the babe, the Son of Mary.
Wow, that was so moving. Thank you so much, Anjanette. And again, if you'll please stay tuned, you even have one more treat coming after this break here on The Voice of Charity. Catholic Charities has had the privilege of helping people in need in Cook and Lake County for more than 100 years. We would like to take this opportunity to thank our frontline workers who, despite the unprecedented challenges of the past 2 years, continue to excel at their jobs every day. From the warehouse staff members who pack boxes of nutritious foods for low-income seniors, to the dedicated WIC employees who have remained open for families with children under the age of 5, to our volunteers and restaurant partners who ensure that meals are available for those experiencing hunger, to our service coordinators and our professional counselors who continue their vital work in innovative ways, to our food pantry staff, and to all those who work at Catholic Charities Call Center, finding solutions for every person who reaches out to us for help. Charity is at the heart of all you do, and we salute you.
I am a seminarian.
The church needs compassionate and well-trained priests to help guide each of us through life.
What inspires me, what draws me always to the priesthood is continue to see priests be a beacon of hope for other people.
You can play a part in the education of these young men as they prepare for a life of service to others.
I want to be that beacon of hope too, and it sets my heart on fire.
To support our seminarians, make your gift at archchicago.org/seminarian fund or call 312-534-7959.
At Catholic Charities, we want to remind you that we are here for anyone who is a victim of domestic violence or anyone who has a concern about someone they think may be a victim. Domestic violence affects millions of people each year, both women and men, of every race, religion, culture, and economic status. It includes physical, psychological, and emotional abuse, inflicted in both subtle and overt ways. The impact on children can be devastating. If you or someone you know are victims of domestic violence and you are looking for a place for healing and recovery, call us at 773-935-3434 in Cook County and 224-430-4977 in Lake County. A safer, happier tomorrow can begin today.
Welcome back to the Voice of Charity. I'm Katie Bredemann, here with my friend and colleague Anjanette Nero, who is Catholic Charities Director of Staff Education and Development. And the TV and radio studio here at the Archdiocese of Chicago has become a concert hall as we feature Anjanette in our employee spotlight. She's got an amazing voice. And before the break, Anjanette, we were talking about how you lead the Voices of Charity choir, and which is comprised of staff members from all across our 1,200 fellow colleagues, right?
Absolutely, from VPs to cashiers at WIC to maintenance workers. We just run the gamut because everybody's welcome. We actually had one person in housing who was a concert pianist, so she was able to fill in for our directors that normally has somebody else come in. So I mean, if you want to come sing, come sing.
All are welcome.
Absolutely.
You also have been instrumental in the last year, Anjanette. Catholic Charities has started monthly prayer services on the last Friday of the month for all staff members of different faiths. It doesn't always have to be Catholic, or all faiths are welcome to just come and read. You know, we have spiritual readings and a little bit of music. Can you talk a little bit about the goals of those monthly prayer services?
Sure. I mean, it's another opportunity for us to come together as a community and really focus in on not just because the jobs that those folks have in the front line are problematic. So it kind of gives us a chance to come together and encourage each other and have some type of hope, and also turn to God or turn to within to kind of meditate on what needs to happen or the great things we've done because of everything. So.
Well, and I know that that they have gotten their volunteer, they're offered on a volunteer basis, but we've gotten a really good turnout, which shows that people want that hunger. They have that need to connect spiritually.
Sure, and it's a great break in the day, too.
Yeah. Really quick before we head into our last song, can you talk to us a little bit about your role in your own faith community? Because I know you're a leader in your faith community, and I think that's incredibly inspiring that you use your music in your own faith community in that way.
Sure. Right now, I'm between faith communities, but I've always been a worship leader for the most part, the last 20 years or so. And it's really important to have a community, because even though I may not be in one specific right now, I have a community of believers that, support me and things like that. And so all of that kind of plays together with the music and, being able to connect with people and being able to connect with God and even help others to connect with God as well.
Well, I can't help with your warmth and your spirituality and your amazing voice that you are bringing a lot of people closer to God, and I just really commend you for that. And as I said, before we run out of time, Anjanette is kind enough to share with us one more Christmas carol today, so enjoy.
O holy night, the stars are brightly shining. It is the night of our dear Savior's birth. Long lay the world in sin and error pining, till he appeared and the soul felt its worth. A thrill of hope, the weary world rejoices, for yonder breaks a new and glorious morn. Fall on your knees, oh, hear the angels' voices, oh, night divine, oh, night when Christ was born, oh, night divine, oh, night, oh, night divine.
That was really thrilling. We're so grateful for you to be here and your willingness to share your amazing talents with us. And we just thank you so much for all you do for Catholic Charities and for all of us as you share your willingness to share all of yourself with us in so many ways. We're so grateful, Anjanette, and we hope you'll come back on the show and start us off with the new year as well.
Sounds good. I'm here for you.
Thank you so much. And thank all of you for joining us today here on The Voice of Charity. It's a real special thing to be with you and as Christmas week continues. We thank you for tuning in and believing in the mission of Catholic Charities. It's amazing. Just incredible.
Join us every Monday through Friday at this time for Catholic Chicago. You can stream our programs live or listen to past programs by visiting our website, archchicago.org, and clicking on Radio TV. And please connect with Catholic Chicago on social media.